What's up guys, welcome back. Today I'll be showing you my recipe for braised short ribs. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit that bell and enable notifications as well. Happy New Year everybody, it's time for me to stop running my mouth. Let's get in the kitchen and make it happen. First and foremost, we're going to start with some beautifully marbled bone-in short ribs. You can pick these up from most of your local grocery stores or from your local butcher. When you're shopping for these, you want to make sure, one, like I said, they have the bone intact, and then two, you want to look for what's called marbling, which are basically these white lines of fat. That's going to ensure there's tons of flavor packed into each of these short ribs. Here's another look at that. That's kind of what you're looking for steaks, really any cut of beef. We're going to start with seasoning these adequately with some nice kosher salt. You can do this the night before and let them dry brine in the refrigerator for up to 24 hours if you like. That's going to really allow that salt to really penetrate the meat, get the flavor all the way down to the bone. We're also going to season with a little pepper, onion powder, and garlic as well. So if you're counting at home, you're looking at salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. That's going to round out the seasoning. Nice and simple. Let the short rib flavor really just come through for us on this recipe. Next, you want to get your Dutch oven screaming hot, and then we're going to add a little bit of avocado oil, which has a very high smoke point. And then we're looking to get a nice crust or sear on each of these short ribs. You want to sear each side, maybe 2 to 3 minutes per side until you get a nice crust to develop something like this. Nice golden brown. That crust is going to add tons of flavor to these short ribs, and it's also going to add some color, which, is visually appealing, and we always remember that we eat with our eyes first. Looking good. Again, do not skip this process. If you plan on making these in a crock pot, still sear them in a pan or a skillet and then add them to your crock pot later, but you do not want to skip this method. Look how beautiful those short ribs look. Wish I could jump in the pot with them. Looking good. Again, guys, this is about 2.5 pounds of short ribs, give or take. As always, the specific measurements and ingredients are provided for you in the description box below, so don't forget that. Once you have a nice sear on all of your short ribs, we're going to remove them to a plate until later, and then we're going to add in 2 onions that we've cut in half or quartered, depending on the size of your onion. Just kind of work those around. They're going to add a lot of nice flavor to this dish as well. As you can see, I'm trying to get up some of that fond that's developed on the bottom of the pot. That's adding tons of flavor to this recipe also. Going in with 1 to 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. And 1 tablespoon of Better Than Bouillon roasted beef base. Also going in with 2 tablespoons of flour. We're going to work that around until it develops a nice paste consistency. That's going to help thicken up our sauce. Here we're going in with 1 tablespoon of garlic. Work all those ingredients around, and then we're going in with 3/4 cup of red wine. I like to use a dry red wine for this, something like a Cabernet. You don't have to use anything super expensive. Whatever you got in the house is fine. And we're going to bring that up to a boil and allow the alcohol to cook off of that wine for a few minutes, probably 3 to 4 minutes. Looking good. As you can see, we've gotten all that delicious fond up off the bottom. Now we're going in with 2 cups of beef stock. Again, bring that up to a boil. Give everything a nice mix. Make sure all the ingredients are well incorporated. And once you've done that, we can go ahead and add those short ribs back to our Dutch oven. Preheat your oven to 325 degrees. We're cooking these nice and low and slow. Add in a bunch of thyme and fresh rosemary and a few bay leaves. Pop that in the oven for about 2.5 hours. We're gonna do what's called the fork test. So you should be able to put a fork into the short rib and give it a twist with very little resistance in the meat. That lets you know that basically that it's shreddable. At that point, I like to remove the lid and put it back in the oven for an additional 25 to 30 minutes to allow the sauce to reduce and darken up a bit. So while that's in the oven doing that, I'm gonna make a nice bacon mushroom topping. Kind of stole this from Gordon Ramsay. This is how he prepares his short ribs, with this mushroom bacon topping. After I tried it the first time, this is just how I make my short ribs from now on. Our actual recipe's, quite a bit different, but the bacon mushroom topping is definitely from Gordon. So shout out to Gordon. We're going to dice up about 4 or 5 pieces of thick cut bacon, saute it in your pan until it gets nice and crispy, and then we're adding in some Bella mushrooms here, and just toss that around in the bacon grease. Allow those mushrooms to really absorb all of that delicious flavor, the smokiness, the saltiness from the bacon. Don't really have to go crazy on the seasoning. The bacon's going to really do the heavy lifting. And this is how our short ribs are looking after that, final 30 minutes in the oven with no lid. You can see they've darkened up a bit. They got some great texture. They're absolutely falling off the bone, super tender. You'll see that in just a second. This recipe is perfect for like a special occasion, New Year's Eve, Valentine's Day, something like that. The bacon mushrooms just add a little bit more texture. Also very delicious in my opinion. If you don't like mushrooms or bacon, you can totally leave this out, and the short ribs are great on their own. But this is just how I got in the habit of making mine, so figured I'd share it with you guys. Looking good. Now we're gonna hit you with a little food porn. Brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Add in that sauce right on top of these short ribs. Oh man, that looks good. You just don't get this kind of food porn on other channels, guys. Here we go. A little bit more gravy. You can never have too much gravy in my book. And I gotta hit it with a little chopped parsley just for a pop of color, and some fresh herb, flavor. Looking absolutely amazing. This is a stunning dish. You can add this with some mashed potatoes, some risotto, cauliflower mash, whatever your favorite side dish is. Pair that with this nicely. And let's take a look at how tender these short ribs are. Look at how easy that's just breaking apart. The meat is perfectly cooked, packed with flavor, probably way too hot to taste test, but you know how I get down. We're gonna do it anyway, just for you guys. Oh man, that's good. I think the face says it all, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the recipe. If you do, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're right around 100,000 subscribers. I can't do this without you guys. I appreciate all of the support. Every like, comment, share means a lot to me. I hope you guys have a great 2021. And as always, thank you for your support.